Cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Conversations with me and Jermaine Bull, my main man over there.
Richard, how are you?
I'm
You well?
good, I'm good. Hey, we got it
Good,
right.
good, good. You got it right. Synchro.
So this is the season finale. What Jermaine and I have decided, we just sort of set ourselves a number of episodes to do. This is our 12th recording, episode 12. And even though we've got a few more than 12 out there at the moment, but so we put this out there and then sort of just have a reflection of what we've done over the last 3 months, really, that we've been recording episodes. Missed a week or two in between, but yeah, it's been 3 months. Starting in the middle of a worldwide lockdown, and now where everything seems to be coming up and lifting up a bit. So, Jermaine, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Richard, but just a correction there. We have only missed 1 week.
You missed
Really.
1 week.
Just 1 week.
Oh, wow.
Just 1 week.
1 week.
Yeah. So no, I'm okay, Richard. I'm glad you had a mini break, small one. But I'm sort of looking forward to a mini break of my own. So yeah.
Nice, man.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Okay, cool. So yeah, after 12 episodes, 12 recordings of this, I thought let's just take some time, let's reflect on what it is that we've done, the kind of things that have happened. We both have stuff that have happened, interactions with other people, very interested in is what we're doing. The subscriber numbers are growing, small, incrementally small, but they're growing, and that's with the other people also just reaching out, different people watching the episodes, going from episode 1, which was just, it was a solid conversation.
Yeah.
The episode 2 and 3 were I think sort of lost. We lost our way. Not lost our way. I think we're finding our feet, really. But way too much editing on my side, and then after that we started to flow and sort of trust the conversation, and those things really picked up. I must say that some of the episodes that I really enjoyed were didn't get as high view numbers as I thought it would get. I feel like these are pearl conversations. Like I think we published episode 8, which was, to me, it was like a 52-minute conversation. There was just nothing that I could take out of that episode. It was absolute gold. And then others, like episode 1, still our highest view in terms of numbers, but we're not doing that for the views. We're not doing it for the view count. We're doing it because we want to connect with, if we're connecting with one person, so just one person, if that we can reach that person and they can feel like they're not alone out there, then we've done a good thing. And that's the whole purpose of doing this conversation, is you just to share with people the stories that we've been through, so that they know that they're not alone. Because during the lockdown, I went through it personally, where I felt almost trapped, to feel like you're boxed in, and like nobody really understands your situation. You just hear about everything going on around you, and the just world seem to be crumbling, and your internal world could be crumbling, but you need to keep a brave face because you're running a company. And so that's really what we were trying to do. We're trying to reach those people, and then or other people also that just felt and resonated with that story and wanted to connect with us. And maybe in the future, as we look to season 2, start doing more interviews with some of you that have stories to tell us and have something to share. We'd love to sort of engage with that and kind of sort of go with that. So
thanks for that hint, Richard. Season 2, there will be a season 2.
There will be a season 2. Don't worry, it's not doesn't end here. It carries on. We will definitely be present for season 2. So that will happen, definitely. I'm messing with the edits here. So if you don't know, I said sort of I manage the broadcast system that we're using, and every week I have to set this aspect ratio because it doesn't look right.
Ratio. Yeah.
And Zoom, or so we're using Teams, but Teams changes things every week, and so that shot I should have checked before, but I didn't.
Yeah, but this is a nice raw footage, Richard. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a interesting journey, Richard. What these episodes have shown me, or reaffirmed at least, and you've touched on it a couple of seconds ago, where lockdown has been challenging in terms of you almost felt a bit isolated. You had to make decisions that under normal circumstances you wouldn't have made, or you wouldn't have been exposed to. And what our journey has showed us through these episodes were, we all share the same sort of journey if you're in that entrepreneurial space. You should sort of reached out to me during that first couple of weeks of lockdown to do something like this. And it's been an amazing journey. So yeah, I've actually had a lot of time to think about the various topics we spoke about, and trying to dissect, what was the most important lesson that that the viewers or the listeners can take from these last couple of months that we've been doing this. And I hope, obviously, with season 2 around the corner, that we will get some input as well from the viewers, and whether you've walked the journey already, or whether you're thinking of starting something. It will be interesting, and hopefully, I mean, it's been good for us. We've this platform has actually, there were some opportunities that came about purely because people reached out, saw the podcast, and yeah, so. But you said it before, it was never done with the view of, amount of views, the amount of clicks. I actually got a call from a guy, a friend of mine from Ireland yesterday, asking me about the podcast. I worked with him for a year and a half when he was based here in South Africa. And he just said, the two of us must just keep doing what we're doing. That's all, like, oh, wow, that was fantastic to hear.
Okay.
So...
Cool.
Yeah, I thought I'll tell you now rather than yesterday or before you went live now. So just left that surprise.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's always good. I mean, I've had people listen to it and then like give positive feedback. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. We get so ingrained, and it's part of why we're doing this is because you get ingrained in this negative thought pattern. Your self-worth, you don't feel good enough. You don't do enough self-talk and all of that stuff, and you don't share enough, and then before you know it, you're thinking so negative, and then people come out and they give you support, and it's amazing. So that I mean, so if anything, one of the things that I've learned about doing this in this platform is that you don't need to have it all figured out. So we started off with, like, really, I just said, like, I mean, I got a camera, I got a mic, you do too. Let's do it, because so the comical part was that most of the time we would have phone calls, and if you don't know, Jermaine's actually my accountant, has been for 8 years, and our relationship has been very friendly. I mean, we had lots of accounting meetings that went well into the night, and probably shouldn't have, but our conversations get very colorful. I live in a different city now, so when we do get a chance to get together, we have lots of laughs, and then we were kind of say, like, we should record this, and so we thought, we actually sat down, said, okay, let's record it, but it can't be too over the top. Some of our other conversations, let's keep it structured. We want to share some valuable information for business people like us, to be able to use. And if it's entertaining, then so be it. So let it be entertaining. And so we didn't We didn't opt for the like, oh, it must be 10 minutes and we're sharing tips and tricks, because that's kind of not it. Although we do try and share some of our experiences, they're not tips and tricks, you know. So definitely not tricks, but they are just lessons that we've learned. And hopefully you wouldn't have to go through those same pains, or you hear the story and you resonate with it and you say, I was there, you know. And so that's kind
Yeah.
of what we wanted to do, is just bring you along a storytelling journey of sort of what we've done and what we've been through. So if you had to pick an episode, Jermaine, what would be
I
your
knew that
favorite?
question was coming.
Of course.
So my favorite one, Richard, was the one we did on the. I mean, people would talk about the first couple, which was all COVID related. But my favorite one was the one about your the perfect customer or the perfect client. What is? I actually got two. It was the one about the perfect client, and the one we did about your network, your network, and your net worth.
Yeah.
You had that famous line in there that I had to write down actually. But those two really, I thought about it over the weekend actually. Those are the two that sort of stood out for me. In terms of, you know what, if you're thinking of doing or starting a business, or even if you want to walk the entrepreneurial space, those are two definites that I think is important.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we did that. Episode 6 was how to grow your network,
Yeah.
and your net worth. And
Mm.
episode 7 was the sort of business in general, but it turned out to be
Mm.
pearl of a conversation, which is
Mm.
how to identify your perfect client. And
Perfect
just in
client.
that is like really the summary of my 12 years
Mm.
experience of business,
Mm.
and
Mm.
your 10 years in our collective sort of
Mm.
experiences that we've been through, the warning signs that you go through.
Mm.
and
Mm.
um and that was actually off the cuff of a rather crusty conversation that you and I were having. We were kind of venting. It was just one of those weeks we're
Yeah.
venting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're just like, okay, cool, we got to hit record at some point. I think we did hit record, and
Yeah.
I was like, we can't publish this. This
Yeah.
is not going to be
Yeah, I
helpful
think
to anyone.
it
We're
was
just
it was a
moaning.
half. Yeah, it was a half an hour into the we logged in, and it was a half an hour, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is such a good conversation.
Yeah.
But we probably should hit record. And Richard, I think the thing that we probably have to put out there is, just because we've walked through it doesn't mean we sort of experts in all of a sudden. Actually, that episode of Know Your Perfect Customer or Client, actually we had an incident with a potential client of ours, or did some ad hoc work with that client, and it just didn't work out. We sort of spent so much time and effort and hours, and obviously hours in our world translates into money basically. So it just didn't work, and we basically just had to cut ties because we couldn't add value to the client like we want to add value, and it just didn't. The information just didn't come across to the client that well, So, I'm still learning, So for me, that episode was just a pearl of a one. I must be honest with
Yeah.
you.
I know
It's
it's
nice to think.
I mean, I do the editing for the videos, and while we've set it up over the last few recordings so that there's less editing that's necessary, that was something that I watched. I actually watched that episode like 3-4 times because it was just such good. I was like, wow, if I didn't know it was me and you, this would be like such gold information that any young business, or whether you're an experienced business, if you're having troubles with clients and whatever it is, that is the episode to watch it. And I'd love for people to comment to let me know what their favorite episode is. Tell you what my least favorite episode is. And when you look at the YouTube sort of what's been published out there, it was in the beginning. So episode 2 and episode 3 was we didn't even title it in our sort of catalog that we record the stuff. But those two were episodes where we the titles, and we probably do this again in season 2, were around sales and how to hire when you don't have experience. Those are my least favorite episodes, and the reason for that is because we ended up rambling like a lot. Like we went off topic. We didn't stick to the subject. I think after watching that, I think I was like, okay, cool. I've got to control the conversation here, because otherwise, and when I say control the conversation, I really mean myself, because I do a lot of the talking and so sort of bring it back. And those are my least favorite episodes that we published. We still published it. There was a third that we didn't publish. I didn't think it was appropriate. I didn't think it would add enough value to anyone. It'd be sort of a lost conversation. You and I knew what it was about, but I mean, later on it came out into episode 7. We're talking about business in general, or how to identify your perfect client. But that for me sort of was like, okay, cool. We gotta get better at this, and so that was my least favorite episode, because sales is so important in business, and when we stuffed it up, I was like, this is because we were also trying to please people, like let's make it short, like a 6-minute video, and that's just after that we just. Like I was like, no, if it's 50 minutes, it's 50 minutes. If it's 27 minutes, it's 27 minutes. That's the conversation. We want people to come along with this conversation. So I think, going through that, understanding the sort of coming back to our purpose and why we're doing this, like it was important then, I think after that, to adapt and say like, okay, no ways, no more cutting. We'll cut out if we mess up, like, my daughter comes running in here and whatever. We'll cut that out, but like everything else kind of stays. And that's it, because we want people to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, be present. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I think.
And did you mention your favorite one, or was it something similar?
So I think we share the favorite one. It's the
customer,
the customer,
or the client,
identify your perfect client, which it's got so much information, and it's really just, I think, a culmination of all of the stuff we've spoken about in so much depth. It's the one that's got the most honesty in it. Like we were both like coming off a crusty week, so we record this on a Thursday, and generally we publish on a Monday or Tuesday. Generally try to publish Monday-ish. Trying to win some favor with the algorithms in YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. But so I think we both come off a crusty week, and we're just like, okay, cool. And then we were like, yeah, what do we do in this situation? And that's kind of what, it goes to the previous episode, your network is your network. We were leaning off each other, sort of really just tapping into advice, like, what would you do in this situation? And that resulted in that recording. It was almost like a business coaching call that we did. And I after watching that, I still keep that notes. I need to remember this, man. And I actually use those things now when I'm having conversations with people. So me personally and the business is we're going through this transition, that and that conversation actually helped me be like, oh cool, like here's what I want to do when I am talking to clients. So I'm trying to launch product, I'm trying to move away from consulting or time-based business, and it's easy for me now to have this conversation because I'm like clear. We structured it through that episode. I go like, yeah, that's right. That's actually what I should do. I should keep that front and center with people and just not be too soft on it like I have been before. Because winning a client is exciting for me. I love sales and love winning a client. And I do what most salespeople do is you negotiate too much. You give too much away. And I just kind of stop that and like, I've got some worth here. I've got value to add to your business. If you're unsure about it, we probably shouldn't work together. Like,
100%.
We don't go through 20 million stuff. You can tell me later on you're unhappy with my service. That's great, and we'll try and fix it. But
Fix it. Yeah.
I want sort of in the beginning start taking
Mm,
shots at you want
mm,
discount pricing or whatever it
mm,
is, or you want to,
mm,
this is how you want to run the show, which is
mm.
interesting because I had a conversation with someone on Monday evening, and uh, it was more casual conversation, so it wasn't sort of any business direct, and he was asking me like how certain stuff about the business, how we do business and stuff like that. And he was like, he doesn't really like the time and material model. He wants a fixed price and he wants to know that that's the fixed price and stuff like that. And so I said to him, okay, cool. So what happens when you change your mind? Do you ever change your
Yeah.
mind? He was like, yeah, I said like, cool. Because I mean, if you say you never change your mind, like in the beginning, you never change your mind. And even if it's not about changing your mind, let's say we produce an outcome because we in software, we in the touchy feely, well, not touchy, it's invisible stuff.
Yeah.
And when I deliver something that you can actually see, and that's different to what you had in your mind's eye, like what do we do then? Like, because I've spent time building that thing, I thought we were in agreement, I show it to you and you have a different perception. Who pays for that? And so like he didn't really have a clear answer, and that's kind of what I was like saying. Yeah, that's why I want to build up just like for the time that I'm spending working on this thing. If you change your mind 50 times, that's okay. I'm still going to get paid. And
Yeah.
so that's helped me have that conversation a little bit clear, and not everybody likes that, and I
Mm.
do also tell people, I say, look, I'm experienced enough to know that to bring all the problems out early on so that you don't go through that, so you don't spend endless amounts, and then we can work with a budget also to say like, cool, here's what we can do with that budget. And so recent conversation I've been having have been getting a lot smoother because of that, because it was a direct attribute, because of that episode reminded me of those things.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
have be
Yeah.
clear about those. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, definitely. I mean, I also find myself going back to, the episodes just to kind of just, reinforce it's not just words that comes out of our mouths. We firmly believe in the the sort of the model that or what we put out there.
Mm.
And sometimes you tend to forget that. So
Yeah.
it's good that we can just go back and just reaffirm what we've gone through over this journey that we've gone through.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So I mean, I saw a photo on Facebook. I think it was yesterday, of somebody else starting a podcast. Man, oh man, did they had boxes and boxes of equipment, and I looked at that. I was like, oh my word, that is insane. Because that was some expensive stuff. I mean, I'm using
Bells and whistles.
gee, like ah, it's like I don't know if you ever watched the Joe Rogan show or any other podcast that also has a
Yeah.
video of
Yeah.
like all that equipment that you see, like this
Mm.
person had all of that, and they just give. I've never seen them record anything or like use some production or try to strive for some production style of recording. I mean, we do try for that. I try. I've got a sort of backlight and I've got a light in front, and
Yeah.
I use a simple webcam, and
Mm.
I got a mic here, simple mic. But and I've been doing this for a while, different videos and stuff like that. And you use your computer, laptops, camera, and mic, and that's what we do. We work with what we have, and I kind of try to also tell business people, it's like work with what you got. Like, cool. It's not always about like you don't have to acquire a lot of stuff. You can just like how do you use what you have smartly? How do you use it
Yeah.
differently and get the perspective of someone else, which is again using your network to. If you ask them, like they'll tell you. I've done stuff on LinkedIn, where I've shown a lot more vulnerability, saying that I
Yeah.
don't have it all figured out, and or I'm struggling in this. Like, is anyone out there got some advice for me? And the amount of people that have come out to help me, like with their ideas and just show support, like I am also feeling the same. You're not alone.
Mm.
Was amazing, and it's really just like given me like a warm blanket, some comfort. It's like, okay, cool, you're not alone. You know, there are people out there to help you and sort of take you along this journey.
Mm.
And so all those little things, a little advice, and I looked at this guy's setup. I was like, gee whiz, like that is an expensive investment, and I hope you're gonna
Yeah.
do 1,000 episodes, like to
Yeah.
get that. I mean, we are at episode 12 at the moment, probably a little bit more on the actual count, but this is our
Mm.
12th recording.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
so and wow, with zero, we didn't spend any money. I mean, this is just the stuff that I have, and you
Mm.
the stuff that I use free software to do all of this
Mm.
setup and the recording of the stuff. So
Mm.
maybe one day we'll, you know, people are interested in how we can actually record this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll show them how. I mean, you get to see how the
Yeah.
source
Yeah.
works, yeah, how the things
Yeah.
moves around, but yeah, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
Just takes a bit of time to get to know the stuff.
Mm. Mm.
What was your biggest struggle, Jermaine? Can I ask you, what was your biggest struggle in doing this? Like, what did you fear most every week sitting down and go like, okay, was it like, well, the camera, like your voice, and you know what is
So,
that? A lot of people talk about their voice, and
so I think initially, I think at first, well, you've asked me. I think you've asked me sometime like early in the year to do it, right? And I think there was an initial probably fear. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, how will I respond to the camera or to the yeah? It's maybe there's a question that I have no clue of how to answer it, or yeah, you know, all those negativity started creeping in. Probably that first episode or two. So yeah, and then I think I started to relax a bit more and just just told myself that you do this on a regular basis almost every day. It's just time to share it with an audience. So I mean, it helps having someone on the other side that's done it before. But yeah, there was a definite probably fear factor at the start because I'm sure I said no to you in a very subtle way the first time you
yeah,
asked
the
me.
avoidance.
The avoidance, yeah. And
Okay,
then,
man,
and
like
then
I'm sure we spoke about this. Like, how are you going to get back to me?
I'm sure I threw a work question in there somewhere, Richard, to say, hey, yeah, let's talk about, when we get your financials out. So just throw a blanket over it. But yeah,
And now,
it's
like, where are you now? Like,
this, I think I don't know if I spoke to you probably off air, but it's been very good for me, just in terms of my personal growth. I always wanted to give back in some way, shape, or form. Mentoring people has always been a passion of mine. So this journey, this experience has been amazing. I look forward to these Thursday sessions. So yeah, I mean, I have people asking me. I mean, my guys at the office are so engaged with this whole process, which is fantastic because I always wanted people that's not gonna just come here for a 9 to 5 and earn a salary and just leave. It's important that they take something away from being here. So in order for me to impart that, I had to challenge myself big time. So this has been a great experience.
yeah, and so we'll carry on. So if you are watching the season finale of these conversations with Jermaine, it's not like next week there's going to be nothing. We carry on, so we'll just be recording more. We're going to change the studio setup, so what you see on screen at the moment will change slightly. We'll tone down some of the logo stuff that we've got here. I think it's too much. It's not that important. We do want to share a bit of who we are and our company and our brands, and we're proud of it. We've built it up over a few years, and so we're not ashamed of it. But it's not the point. So we wanna focus more on the point. We are reaching out to guests to get some guests on to get their perspective. So you, the audience, we wanna hear your points of views and the things that you're struggling with in sharing your stories with us. So
Mm,
that's going to be happening in season 2 as we
mm,
embark on this journey.
mm.
Um, and so that growth, and we'll continue to Jermaine and I continue to bring you some great value. Um, what for me the lesson that I've learned was show up no matter
Yeah.
what. There were weeks where
Yeah.
we're getting ready for this. I'm like, I got so much going on right now. I am
Yeah.
so busy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've got an upset client, I've got a happy client, I've got a new client, I've got a wife, I've got kids, I got and we'll just like show up like, and we really get prepped. And I don't know, there's some weeks, maybe I don't know if it shows in the episodes, but I was just not into it. And then
Well,
as we got
I,
talking, I'd be like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I think two moments stood out for me, Richard. Was I think 2 weeks ago, yeah, as part of our Wednesday prep, we started talking about how season 2 is going to take shape, and what the how different it should be from season 1. So, and you were sick. You were sick as a dog. You had your Springbok jacket on. You had, like, Richard, you look like death. But you said it now. You turned up. All right, and I think it was a 8 o'clock. We did an 8 o'clock session, and I was like, mid lemons, take it, man. But
yeah.
you rocked up. You rocked up, and one thing that you actually did for me was the episode we did on a staff member who contracted COVID.
Mm.
I mean, that day, as you know, I spoke to you telephonically, and I said, Richard, I'm just not in the right headspace, man. But and you just turned it. It wasn't even a planned episode,
No.
and you turned it into an episode, and that was great. And it comes back to your point, where you said, we just rocked up. You go through ups and downs as business owners, but these sessions it just took your mind off things, and you could just zone in on what we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's also, I think for me, one of the, because of that, just showing up, I've also, I've been doing that practice for a while in my business, my personal sort of
Mm.
daily life. And sort of in the midst of this, I made a little bit of a movie thingy. You can check the link in the description. I've actually been pushing that a lot more. Actually, you know what you do?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching this at the moment and you're having a bit of fun laughing at us or enjoying this, like, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button? That would be fantastic. And put the like button. I don't think we've done this often enough in these episodes. Like, hit that like button, share it with a friend, get them to watch it. Like,
I,
because the more people
I
that
I
see
did it.
this, the more people we get to reach, and they get to
Yeah,
we get
I
to help.
actually did it with my friend from Ireland yesterday. I'm like, keep hitting the like button, man.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
the like button.
So I think what are our numbers aren't through the roof. They're low tens, below 50. Kind of, that's the general numbers. Some of them are more, some of them just over 100. So, and we keep showing up doing these episodes for that count. And I think part of it is because it's very long. So we're not doing entertainment stuff, funny TikTok videos or whatever, people falling over, whatever they do on TikTok. TikTok scares the crap out of me. I opened the app once and I was like, it's too busy, close it. you know. And so these are actually meant for business people, but the problem is it's long. Some of these conversations are 58 minutes long, so you got to set the time aside, and we're okay with that. So like I said, it's just if we're reaching 1-2 people that really get value out of this, then that's fine, that's amazing. So that's been for me the driver of why I keep showing up. And I know that we get better also, our skill improves. We've spoken about different stuff, maybe for as we grow, as we continue to have these conversations, what we could do differently, what we could do better, how we can improve, how do we bring more value to our audience. And so that's also been a fantastic journey, coming through this. Don't edit too much. That's, I think, a
Yeah,
lesson
I
for me.
saw.
Is like,
I
geez, all the edits.
Yeah, I read some of the comments. I think it was it the last week's episode, or I think we were or was it the one about the one you did on me with something about introvert, extrovert? I found it very amusing. So it's actually nice just to get some feedback will be fantastic, so we can start engaging
Yeah.
with the audience. So yeah.
Cool. So do you feel internet famous?
Um, I, I don't I didn't
It's
actually think about
no,
that.
no, it's a silly question. Don't
Put
answer
it
it.
out
Silly. We're not,
there.
we're not internet
Yeah,
famous at all. With a very low
yeah,
subscriber base, very few
yeah,
viewers. Like, we're definitely not internet famous, and we don't strive to be either. We're just regular business people trying to help other
yeah.
business people, people wanting to get into business. Um, so yeah, so I think I've really enjoyed just showing up every week, doing these conversations, getting to know each other a little bit better. The ideas that have come from it, we also look at other avenues that we're now exploring. That whole thing was even if each episode that we did, we kind of were playing it out in real life.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you can start something like this, get over the camera, get over the camera shy, like, because firstly, no one's gonna be watching you.
yeah,
To be honest, like you get a couple of views in your first few videos, but it kind of goes down and then it goes up, and whatever happens, and so don't let that be the point. Like, just start and
yeah.
have the conversation. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, there will be a link in the description on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. That's kind of where we share this information.
Mm.
If you're listening to the podcast version, then I'm sure in the podcast description there's a link as well. You can go ahead and click on that, and it will take you to a form. You just drop your name, email, sort of how we can get in contact with you, and sort of why you want to be on the show, what you want to talk about, and then we'll reach out to you and we'll schedule it. Chances are you'll end up being on the show because we're nice guys, and that's kind of what we want to do with season 2. Just get a variation of different people showing up as well, um, to talk about their experiences, like what they experience in business, and the topics they want to talk about. So that will be happening definitely.
Cool.
Cool. And any golden milestones that you're proud of here, Jermaine, in this experience? With it, some of the stuff that maybe happened off air, some of the stuff that maybe, whatever it is, what is it? Any golden milestones there?
Well, I mean, I think that word I use that word what's it? Crusty moments. I've enjoyed the off air conversations. I think a milestone, Richard. I mean, I think you mentioned it in one of the previous episodes where we've known each other for quite a while now, but this actually just enhanced our connection, we not just business colleagues, but it just enhanced everything. So yes, it might not be a massive milestone, but for me that sort of stands out. You sort of mentioned that in one of the episodes, in your LinkedIn post as well. Yes, from a business point of view, there's been some people reached out, like I mentioned before, which was quite cool. Like, for me, it was never, when I went on the journey with you, it was never initially about getting anything from it initially. It was always I saw it as a bit of a marathon. And people reaching out so quickly, just asking about us. That for me was amazing, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. I think for me, what was really a highlight was actually changing the format from just the pure recording the video, because I mean we were streaming this through YouTube, and then actually converting it to a podcast series, which is
Yeah.
now starting to take off. So
Yeah.
which is also great, and it just made sense because of the longer format. Like, people want to listen to it like when they want it on the go, and they don't always want the video, because it's not like we're doing anything amazing here, showing sort of tutorials or stuff like that. Although there is a tutorial if you listen to some of the last episodes, on some of the things that Jermaine and I are doing, and how to help you as a business person understand your reports, and how to build your own report using Excel without any fancy schmancy stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that is really great. And then to see that podcast not only end up on Spotify, but also on
Spotify.
Google
Yeah.
Podcasts, we're on Anchor,
Yeah.
we're on Breaker, we're on Overcast, on Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. Not on Apple Apple Podcasts just yet, on iTunes.
Yeah.
But hopefully that will come over time. We'll see as we get better at figuring these things out, and hopefully you can too. So any closing thoughts for season 1? It's put season 1 to bed, and you know, so
closing
we can wake
thoughts.
up with a new day.
It's been a fantastic experience. I still refer back to these episodes just to, you know, keep perspective on the days that you feel blue. You know, these episodes, this journey that we went on, has been a real eye opener, because sometimes you tend to forget that you know, there's people out there with the same you know, struggles as you. And I also had to remind myself, you know, to celebrate the small victories as well. So looking forward to season 2. Yeah. Your thoughts, Richard?
Similar. So it's picking up on, because I watch these episodes quite often, is we both tend to say, you know, a lot. So I'm trying to say that less. So that's those kind of things. So silly things. It's the filler words. And trying to be more clear about the message I want someone to receive out of the conversations, is that and then again the marathon that we are in, that it's, you know, we don't expect anything to happen overnight. I think I just said, you know, again, bothered me, but as that we don't have any overnight expectation, is that we see this running for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but we'll see. The other things that have already come out of this that we've seen, you know, like the training that I'm doing, the joint training that we're doing, the individual attention you're getting from other opportunities, the business opportunities that have come out of this, and the confidence that it's boosting for you and I think I see that in you. I see that change happening, and so that's really been great. Is, you know, the mental exercise we're getting out of this is,
100%.
so it's been great. I've enjoyed it. I've always wanted to do something like this. In 2015 I sort of tried to launch Richard Talks back then, as really as an experiment in training, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it flopped because I didn't show up every week, and I didn't actually have a sparring partner, which, you know, I have tried to do some of solo videos. I've done some solo videos, you know, they're okay, they're not fantastic, they don't share that much value, and I don't do it that often. So having that anchor here every week to sit down and do this recording, even if we don't have a topic, you know, the weeks we didn't have a topic, and either you or I would fill in that need at that point, or say, okay, cool, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and that's been great to watch it unfold, to see some of how it's impacted other people. It's been also fantastic.
Cool.
Okay, cool. That's it for me, Jermaine. I'm all out of blabber. I'm all right.
Looking forward to season 2, I guess.
So catch us again here next week. We don't take a holiday. We'll be back next week with season 2. Same faces, same great topics, and more excitement for you. And again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if that's something that you're into. And that's it from me, Richard Bezeno, and my partner in crime,
Jermaine Bull.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cool.